as well. First, changes are coming to the Burrard Street Bridge. After much debate, Vancouver City Council has approved a multi-million-dollar plan to make the bridge safer for pedestrians, cyclists and motorists. The $35 million project was passed by a vote of 7-3 yesterday. It will restore an east sidewalk for pedestrians by reallocating a northbound lane of traffic. There will also be safety improvements to the intersection at Burrard and Pacific. After public consultation, city staff made a few modifications to the original plan, including the installation of suicide prevention fencing and crisis phones.
People who are prevented from jumping from bridges do not go on to commit suicide.
Construction work expected to begin early next year and will take up to 18 months to complete. The federal and provincial governments are teaming up to fix one of the worst intersections in our province. The McKenzie Interchange at Highway 1 in Victoria is the second biggest bottleneck in the province next to the George Massey Tunnel. It also has the distinction of having one of the highest accident rates, as 90,000 vehicles a day go through the intersection. The federal government is kicking in a little more than $32 million, and the province is contributing more than $52 million, so the interchange can be made safer.
Woke up this morning with no voice, but there was nothing that was going to stand between me and being here with all of you today to announce a project jointly with our federal and our municipal partners that is going to have such a profound impact on the quality of life here in the southern Vancouver Island.
A Richmond man is now facing charges in connection with a double homicide in Coquitlam last week. The bodies of a man and a 56-year-old woman were found inside a home in the Westwood Plateau neighborhood last Thursday. 54-year-old Mario Saheli has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and is expected to appear in court later today. Police believe he had a previous relationship with the woman. Investigators say the male victim was from Israel and had just arrived in Canada 2 days before his body was found. BC's police watchdog is launching a preliminary investigation into the conduct of Victoria Police following the death of a toddler over the weekend. Officers responded to reports of a screaming woman in a Douglas Street hotel room early Saturday and found a 19-month-old without any vital signs. Police say they spoke with the mother on 2 occasions the day before the incident. Hundreds of family and friends have paid tribute to a Surrey realtor who died while trying to protect his wife and children from a home intruder almost 2 weeks ago. A funeral was held for Colin Hill in Surrey yesterday. The 42-year-old is being remembered as a hero. Police say he managed to give his family time to hide when he fought off a man with a gun who tried to make his way inside the home. 22-year-old Corey Lamar Green has been charged with second-degree murder. He has a lengthy criminal record and was on probation at the time. He's expected back in court in September.
Here is a person who was a hard-working, be a good community person, supporting his family, and trying to protect his own family. Someone took his life. No one should have to go through, no family go through this.
The loonie dove to its lowest level in more than a decade yesterday. Our dollar lost more than half a cent in trading to close at 76.70 cents U.S. Although it's up 1/3 of a cent in overseas trading this morning, traders put part of the blame on the sagging dollar on yesterday's drop in oil prices.
The main cause is clearly the oil price in the background. That's our big export, and it's been doing badly. And at the same time, the Canadian economy hasn't been picking enough up in other areas, and so then we've been having a bad situation. The Bank of Canada has recognized that, reduced interest rates, and that's made the Canadian dollar even less attractive. And all those forces together explains why we have such a low dollar now.
Crews are still trying to gain control of the West Side Road fire in the Okanagan this morning. Premier Christy Clark visited the front lines in the area yesterday in Kelowna. She says these relentless wildfires could be the new summer norm. Premier Clark says she's worried climate change has altered the terrain, drying it out and making it more susceptible to fire. She also says her government is considering stiffer fines for people who start fires through negligence. About 40% of forest fires sparked this season have been caused by humans.
Imagine if there had been 400 fewer fires this year in the province. How much more timber would we have saved? How many jobs would we have saved? How many people would have gone without having their homes threatened? I think people who are not taking personal responsibility should face tougher penalties for this. We need to work through what those penalties are. Some of them that have been discussed have been to say, you know, maybe we should have the right to take away your car if you throw a lit cigarette out a window.
Metro Vancouver's water usage has gone down with Stage 3 restrictions now in effect, but many people continue to ignore the rules. Many homes still have their sprinklers on, despite warnings of stepped-up enforcement. Some experts say restrictions should have been imposed months ago because environmental modeling in May predicted a hot and dry summer. They say the drought and the possibility of more in the future should convince authorities to implement water metering and other conservation measures to cut residential use of water by 30%.
We might have to go to 4 restrictions, but you know, if we all would be metered, then we could actually do a much better job in policing this thing, because these smart meters now allow us to actually check how much water is being used for every individual, and that means you wouldn't have to send out policemen giving tickets to people. You could actually just charge them automatically.
Scary moments in Alberta yesterday as areas were hit with a summer storm. Tornado warnings were issued in the Calgary area. A storm system spawned some frightening funnel clouds not too far from the city. Meteorologists say a tornado did touch down briefly about 45 kilometers southwest of Calgary before the storm moved over the city. There were no injuries or serious damage reported. 5:37, let's have a first look at our forecast. Nothing like that Calgary situation, at least in our neighborhood.